his 19th has emerged from the fog of World War II relatively unscathed and untouched.
The island served as a
Pues la isla de Soda
detention camp.
un campamento de los, Alemania y en Inglaterra. Aunque son así todavía, pues Alemania, pues la razón que el profesor Wilhelm nació en 1903.
In biology, he became a prominent advisor to the ruling party in the 30s.
Wenn die älteren Jahrgänge noch wanken werden könnten, die Jugend ist uns verschrieben und verfallen mit Leibesfehlen.
In 1939, as war escalated, he, his wife Olga, and 4-year-old son Hans fled the country.
Ja, ich habe nie einen solchen Befehl bekommen. Er hat einmal gefragt, nicht wahr? Am 14. Mai 1942 war der Großadmiral Räder und ich bei ihm.
That's what he wanted people to believe. The fact is, his experiments were hard to stomach even for his own people.
In truth, he had become a prominent figure in the government, but as his work progressed, questions and objections had been raised in the higher echelons of the Reich.
His work with genetics and DNA was truly pioneering, the cracking and manipulating of the human genome. What Professor Goetze was most successful in, however, was keeping his history a secret until his death.
In an attempt to gain favour among the German hierarchy, Wilhelm Goetze was at the forefront of the government's most fanatical policies. In 1938, he was influential in instigating the infamous Sajmelnacht, the Night of Sawdust. But, as his experiments advanced, he became a much less popular figure and soon feared for his and his family's lives.
Tan pronto como escaparon a Inglaterra, lo golpearon aquí, pero los lugareños fueron amables como con él. Muchas de ellas eligieron vivir después de la guerra.
Following their release, Professor Goetze, Olga, and young Hans chose to remain. After studying under his father, Hans left at the age of 18 and went to university on the mainland, studying biology and engineering, writing several pioneering papers about genetics and the splicing of DNA with mechanical implants.
Llamó biofusión.
The technique of manipulating genetic material to splice with mechanical attachments. However, much like his father, the British government became more and more concerned with Hans Goetze's proposals. So he was forced to seek financial backing from home.
His dad left Germany with quite a few bob, so Hans came back. He saw our little island as some sort of refuge where he could work in peace. Soon every nutcase and eccentric was coming over.
By 1962, Hans had set up Sodor Research, a small lab near the town of Alsborough, but soon the enterprise began supplying medical equipment and machinery, and quickly grew to become a large complex, comprising its own links to the growing Sodor rail system.
Young Abby Collins from the town was working there when Professor Hans took a liking to her. Soon they were married, and not long after, the town was buzzing with news of her pregnancy.
Baby Thomas was born in 1968. Throughout the early years of his life, he would watch the growing railway network with fascination.
He couldn't get enough of trains. His dad bought him one of the first video cameras, and he'd be on the platforms every day. You can see me in some of those tapes.
Hola, señor Harvey. Hola, papi. Hola, Charlie.
Morning, Thomas.
Hola, Tomás. Era amigos con todos, incluso ese simple bloque. Solo podía decir dónde vivía.
But his favourite trains were the old steam engines.
Steam engines were a dying art on the British mainland, but Hans also had a fondness for them, much like his son, and liked to keep them running for our purposes, taking orders from the labs to the growing docks, or to the mainland to be transferred to modern postal express trains. But as the Sodor rail system expanded, it found itself increasingly under the supervision of the new British rail network and appointed a new controller.
Right, get off my f***ing platform! platform.
Sir Topham Hatt. Born into money, he took his ridiculous name to heart and started wearing a top hat all the time. Of course, the islanders had a different name for him.
Fat bastard. You've never met such a cold-hearted as him. He banned all steam engine volunteers and cut most at rail employees. Shut down the branch line and the smaller stations. He was happy to let the railway rust away, just like they did to the main line.
But the fortunes of the railway were about to take a profitable turn, a stroke of luck for the island that would result from tragedy.
Come on. Nos tomas de prisa, llegarás tarde. Sí, vas a llegar tarde. Por eso no vamos a alcanzar. Vamos a llegar tarde. Sí, que bueno, ya sé. Que debemos saber a ver si no va a pasar un tren por ahí. Ah, sí, ya. Vamos. Es hora de ver la vida. Cuidado de las copas. Sí. Todas. Entra. No puedo estar atascado. No se usa un tren. Pasando. Por favor. Sí. Vamos, no seas exagerado. Creo que no va a haber un tren y si hay, pues ser. ¡Toma, cuidado! No lo sé, ¿crees que será No sé, deja de mentir, pero no sé.
Hans was mortified. He disappeared from public view and into the labs. Locking himself in, he wouldn't allow anyone in there. Eventually his father Wilhelm came to see him.
In a few days, a major